Hey Tommy, I was just messing around in the garage and thought I'd do a quick little video on some of my luggage stuff. Um, I'm not dragging out all my crap because it's all packed away in different places, and I haven't even started to think about packing for the next trip yet. So one of the first things I remembered was, yeah, make sure you put some clear vinyl on your plastics where your bags are going to hit your bike because they will absolutely eventually get dirty and abrade your plastics pretty good. So I'm fitting up another set of these Tusk uh, Traverse panniers on the 701 just because when Becky's on here two up, her legs, were hitting well, actually, I couldn't run my bigger bags on there because they were just too close to the passenger foot pegs. So I'm trying to, fit these smaller bags for those two up trips so I can, keep tools and gear on the bike all the time. So anyways, one of the first things I was going to mention is you're going to want a bunch of these stuff sacks. So Walmart has, and most sporting good stores have these really cheap waterproof dry bags. So they pack really small. They're fairly waterproof or water resistant or whatever, for short things. So, anyways, you'll want to put them uh, when you're packing your riding gear and your tools and all that stuff, everything needs to be wrapped. Just because otherwise, your metal tools will just rub like crazy until they, rub holes, and you want them to rub holes in your stuff sacks and not your, expensive panniers. So everything, you should be thinking about as you're packing your bike. How to put all the weight down low, first of all, as low and forward as possible, as tight as possible. Everything should be fit and, like if you have compression sacks or whatever, bound together with zip ties, rubber bands, Velcro straps, something of that nature, to keep everything nice and tight from rattling around. And then whenever I put, like if I'm going to put, a tube and some tire irons or, some tools on one side, I will, again, wrap all those things and then, above it, fill the rest of the space with soft items. They can be another stuff sack with your, riding socks, for the next day or other clothing items, rain jacket, that sort of thing. So let's see. I think we're talking about what kind of gear you pack in general. One of the things I always, for longer trips, especially if the weather's going to be kind of cooler, now is I've been going with a puffy coat. And so the puffy coat works really well. Try to get it out one-handed. But anyways, they pack down, really small when you're not using them, and then they fluff up, and they're really warm for an underlayer. So you can put it underneath your normal riding jacket if the weather gets a little colder, or when you're at the hotel or lodge or whatever. You can throw that on, and you're not walking around in your potentially wet and dirty riding gear, and you have a jacket with you, then for those 50-degree nights. Another thing I was thinking of, I do have a pair of waterproof socks. These are on Amazon, and they're just like high socks. They have, I don't know, kind of like a neoprene feel to them, neoprene layer or something like that in it. But the waterproof socks actually work pretty good. So they, again, if you're stuffing them in something, they pack fairly small, like normal socks. And so you can, stuff them in and around your other gear. But that is one of those things that it's nice to have, just in case your boots get really wet. And, obviously you can a lot of times dry your boots, at the hotel with a hair dryer or something like that. But anyways, again, if you don't have really good waterproofing options, waterproof socks are fairly inexpensive and nice to have for the second day or third day after it rains and all that stuff. I always pack nitrile gloves. That's something that you can keep in your tank bag. Obviously, if you're changing a tire, they're really handy. But if your hands are getting cold or you end up getting wet gloves, you can put on nitrile gloves underneath. It doesn't work real good in hot weather, but in cold weather or cool weather, it keeps your hands dry and it makes a windproof barrier. So sometimes that's, nice to have. And obviously they pack really small. In the tank bag, like I said, what I was going to say is my tank bag is old and it's not waterproof anymore, so I do have to pack everything in these little dry sacks. And so I'll keep like a neck gaiter, just something, again, that's really small, but if you're, again, cold weather and stuff like that, it can definitely help out. So this is my like essential tool pack here. So this is almost the same as on whether I'm riding the 500 or the 701. And I can break it over later or whatever, but my tool pack is, just normal wrenches and things like that. But then I have, spare master link, valve stem, what do you call it? The stem remover or the core remover, spare valve core, and then in this one I have CO2 cartridges, and then the inflator, one of those little valve fishing tools and things like that. So that's all I carry for tools, and so that can go in your backpack. If you ever have a bag that rips or something like that, and you want to make sure that you have multiple ways to carry stuff, and trying to keep it as compact as possible. That's all the tools I carry for tire changing, other than the actual tube. So I'll just show you. So this is a 21-inch tube. And the 21-inch tube, I usually get, some of the lighter duty tubes, just because they're a little bit smaller and thinner. And if you're putting a 21, it'll fit into an 18-inch rear, and it'll get you out of the woods. It'll get you to the next town or whatever. You don't want to run it long term. But when you're going on a longer adventure and the space is a premium, weight is a premium, and all that stuff, a 21-inch tube will get you through everything. So you can see I usually kind of zip tie the tube together and, try to make it a little bit more compact. You need 3 spoons. The lightweight aluminum spoons work really well. A lot of times I'll have them with a rubber band or something like that to hold them together. But you can see on my bag, on my stuff sack, all the wear points until there's holes in it. And so, when they obviously get dirty, these are so cheap and disposable. You can see the round rings. That's from me putting this on the ground and then changing the tire on top of it, so you don't get crap in your bearings and all that stuff. So stuff sacks, definitely a way to go. And like I said, I usually keep the tube and the tire irons together in one pack, and then because then again, you're able to put heavy, rigid, and bulky items, pack them in a certain way. So that's why I try to separate stuff. And like I said about, everything, if you don't want it to vibrate around, then you want to make sure it's in something compressible. So, it's not always vibrating. So, and then the CO2s. Let's see. So another thing, another thing I always pack is a raincoat, or rain fly, I should say. So I've been doing the frog togs. I've got a Turbis, rain fly, and a couple other things I've tried over the years. Frog togs are really cheap. They're available at every Walmart, so you can always, if it tears or gets wrecked or whatever, you can go and usually find a replacement for $30 or less. And that's kind of why I ended up sticking with them. They do shred in the woods and all that stuff, so they're not obviously great for a lot of stuff, but it's something that obviously they pack down really low. And even if it's not raining and you're just in like a cooler morning or whatever, if you throw that rain jacket that just fly over the top of it, it is unbelievable how different or how much warmer you will be using your normal riding gear. And so instead of spending $1,000 or whatever on the multi-layer adventure jackets and all that stuff, you can get away with a decent normal enduro type riding jacket for those 60 degrees 70-degree days when you don't want to overheat. And then in the morning when it's 40 or 50 degrees, you can throw on that windbreaker, and you have an extra layer, and it makes it remarkably warmer. So the frog togs come in their own bag, but again, I just grab a stuff sack and all that stuff, and then well, anyways, it's hard to do one-handed, but anyways, the frog togs are awesome. So God, I sound more and more like a butcher every day with this stuff. So the other things I think I mentioned in that little write-up was that I usually wear hiking pants, some sort of hiking pants. The synthetic hiking pants, dries really quick if you get them wet. You can always wash them real easily. Same with moisture wicking athletic synthetic long sleeve shirts. I actually usually like to find something with kind of a high collar, and so like most motocross jerseys are really low collars, and a lot of times I get chafing around the neck from adventure bike riding jackets and stuff, and so a higher collar is definitely helpful. And then with that neck gaiter, you can throw that in there and keep your neck nice and warm on those really cold mornings or whatever. But anyways, always you should have almost no cotton in your bags at all. Some people obviously like cotton underwear to sleep in or something, or cotton socks for around the campfire and stuff. That, or relaxing gear or whatever. That's fine, but it does still pack small. But as far as riding gear and that sort of thing, and if you're trying to keep everything minimal, keep it synthetic. Stuff that has more than one purpose. So like I was saying about the hiking pants, so you can obviously wear them around. Most hiking pants look pretty good nowadays. They you can wear it out to a restaurant or whatever if you're going out in the evening. And then you can wear them underneath your normal riding pants, and it also acts like another layer of warmth if needed, or if your pants are kind of damp or something like that. Surprisingly, again, you throw on some hiking pants first, and then slide all that other wet gear over the top of it, and at least extends your comfort level for a little bit longer. I'm trying to think what else we had. So I think most of the rest of the stuff that I usually have to think about is regarding camping more than anything. And so camping doubles your luggage for sure, because you obviously have bed rolls or sleeping pads, sleeping bag, the tent, maybe a chair, and then a lot of people go with all the cooking paraphernalia and all that stuff too. So that adds a lot. That makes it really difficult, and there you're going to end up spending some money, and you need more luggage. But I'm pretty sure I could do 5 days off of this easily in a hotel, with just this size of a bag on both sides, carrying my kind of my overflow stuff, honestly. So then or not overflow, but bike essentials, tubes and tools, and then rain jacket, puffy coat, a couple of those other items just to fill the space. And then, my tank bag will hold, my toiletries, my, I don't know, personal items or whatever, obviously wallet and all that fun stuff in the tank bag. Um, so that can go into, you can just pull out a little stuff sack, take that into the hotel with you. Charging cords, a power, like one of those power packs, to recharge your phone in case you're out in the middle of nowhere and you need to do that. Just a couple things, extra cords, all that normal stuff I guess you'd travel with, can go in there. Yeah, chapstick for a lot of people, that's good to carry because if you need to, you can always use it as a anti-chafing agent. So that's always something to consider. Sunscreen, sometimes I've got these little wipes for insect repellents and things like that. Again, and then I have a small first aid kit, with some of those things in that tank bag that kind of always stays in there. Yeah, so anyways, then I could probably do 5+ days on, if you're just doing hotels, because everything for the bike stays on the bike and stays in here for the most part. And then backpack would just be obviously water and stuff, some snacks, and then your personal clothing items that'll go into a hotel room with you. But yeah, it should be pretty simple when you're doing some sort of lodging, and you shouldn't need a whole lot of luggage space. So I hope that helps.